Learn from yesterday. Live for today. Hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better. Only two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the former. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. The only source of knowledge is experience. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. Anyone who doesn't take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. Weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. If you are out to describe the truth, leave elegance to the tailor. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. If people are good only because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. Common sense is the collection of prejudices acquired by age 18. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. Nationalism is an infantile disease. It is the measles of mankind. Intellectuals solve problems. Geniuses prevent them. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. All that is valuable in human society depends upon the opportunity for development accorded the individual. The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. In matters of truth and justice, there is no difference between large and small problems, for issues concerning the treatment of people are all the same. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. The gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. He who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe is as good as dead. His eyes are closed. There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. No amount of experimentation can ever prove me right. A single experiment can prove me wrong. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives, and not in what he is able to receive. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idolized. Pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. Before God, we are all equally wise and equally foolish. It is strange to be known so universally and yet to be so lonely. A question that sometimes drives me hazy. Am I or are the others crazy? Intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. A table, a chair, a bowl of fruit, and a violin. What else does a man need to be happy? The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Whoever undertakes to set himself up as a judge of truth and knowledge is shipwrecked by the laughter of the gods. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong. It is character. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. The environment is everything that isn't me. Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute, and it seems like an hour. Sit with a pretty girl for an hour, and it seems like a minute. Technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. The distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. Gravitation is not responsible for people falling in love. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. Sometimes one pays most for the things one gets for nothing. An empty stomach is not a good political advisor. I do not believe in immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it. The only real valuable thing is intuition. We cannot despair of humanity, since we ourselves are human beings. The whole of science is nothing more than a refinement of everyday thinking. Never do anything against conscience, even if the state demands it.